Hey guys, good morning. It's me, Brittany Travels the World, and so Lola and I are on our morning walk because Lola, just like 10 years ago when I had depression, thank you Washington State and your dark energy. Thank you so much. So just like those years ago, Lola got me up. Lola is 11 years old now, but you know what that means. That means we've also changed as well. That's all it reminds me of, really. Nothing else. So she got me up at like 6 o'clock in the morning years ago. Those of you who have very sluggish energy and you do not even flinch when the sun is up, I'm not going to say shame on you, but that's why having a companion could be a good, because these guys are on nature's cycle, nature's clock. And so that's the first thing I'm going to touch on. So I got into a routine after I came here to California. Like, I learned about routine, because why Californians have a different energy, they have different values, all that stuff from like compared to where I'm from. And I'm not saying that people where I'm from don't have a routine, it's just different. And a lot of people who live up there actually don't have routines, and they are adversely affected by either the climate, or in the case of where I'm from, there's a huge drug and alcohol problem. So it's just compounded of ridiculousness and weird energies you're going to encounter. Not saying those problems don't exist here. I digress. So I want to teach yoga. I got into my yoga practice when I was 18 years old, and then I got disconnected from it because I didn't know I could go practice anywhere. Then I got Bikram came around. Bikram came and saved my life because I was depressed and had not felt the heat in years. When I lived in Seattle, I hadn't traveled anywhere, done nothing, because my family are the ones that bring all the fun to my life. So and the outdoors. So I hadn't seen any of that for years. I was living with my real dad back in the day. But okay, I digress. I am going off topic. Yoga. Continued with it when I came to California, because down here, shit is crunchy here. When I say crunchy, I mean granola-y. When I mean granola-y, I mean like health conscious, hippie vibes, the whole thing. So my yoga practice continued because I knew I needed it. And then my sister was like, well, why don't you go to teacher school? And I did. And then I didn't do anything after that, even though I greatly feel so ready to teach. So today, just now, I realized I have to stop giving away yoga for free, because there's a woman who was here and her back hurt really bad, or I don't want to say it hurt really bad, but she has a back issue. And I said, do you have a yoga teacher? And she said, no, I don't want to do yoga. I mean, shut me down that fast. And I was just like, my God, who gets up at this time in the morning and is already like, yoga can't do anything for me, I've got a messed up back? Like, who does that? So all of a sudden, my brain came clear as day, and I explained to her, and I'm going to give away yoga for free right now, but soon start offering one-to-one sessions, group sessions, classes, proper, right? And I started to tell her all the benefits of yoga, and clear as day, it was like I was teaching a class. And I was like, we ain't doing this for free no more. We ain't doing this for free no more. No, Jesus. No, we're not. Because by the time I finished talking to her, she still was like, I'm not going to yoga. But then she looked at the girl that had walked in the park, who was a bodybuilder, and was like, look at her. Isn't she great? Isn't she wonderful? Yeah, that's wonderful. When your back is not messed up, that's wonderful. When your back is messed up, I highly suggest you stick to nothing more than yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong or anything that's just very passive. Don't do anything that's the one thing about yoga. It's the reason why I started yoga, because I had previous injuries from being a track athlete and getting shin splints, and then the coaches not doing anything about it and not doing anything to help me develop my body other than saying, oh, we have to go do weightlifting and blah, blah, blah. Well, what happens when you hurt yourself? I can tell you from experience that I just broke my elbow 2 months ago, And when one thing goes down, it was a ripple effect. I could not do yoga. I couldn't do anything like hardcore. And the reason why, was it just because of the bone? No, it's because I had a huge cut in my arm and I had to let that heal. So the long story short is, it's going to be time to arrive on our mats, guys. It's going to be time to be up by 7 o'clock in the morning on our yoga mats. I'm going to explain to you what yoga is, what it means. It's not a religion. Sweet Jesus, if one more radical person says that, you have a temple that you're supposed to take care of, and if you ain't taking care of it, don't preach to me, please. There's tools that we are given, and it's your job to use your brain, which you were created with, the Creator gave you, to use that to figure out how to take care of yourself, right? And He sends ordinary things and ordinary people that don't always look like you, to give you the answers, right? So anyways, this is the yoga today. And when yoga class comes, we're going to go through what I went through with that woman. And then you yourself can go on your yoga journey. And just like finding Jesus, you will just have to know for yourself if that's the right path, right? You have to have an experience with something to know if it's right for you. My god auntie, Elke, she once taught me a song when I was a kid, and it goes like this. I can't say one word in it because it's going to be a cuss word and I'm going to get censored. So we were kids and we were in her daycare, and it goes like this. Alice, who the is Alice? And she let us kids sing this song. And her message to us and her lesson was that if you don't feel right saying that, you don't do it, right? If yoga doesn't feel right to you, don't do yoga. But if you ain't even tried it, your body's all messed up, your mind is all messed up, your spirit's all messed up, perhaps, my friends, just take one class. If it doesn't work, I am so sorry that I wasted 1 hour or less of your time. Again, I said or less, because yoga practice could be like as minimal as 15 minutes all the way up to like 90 minutes. Yoga can honestly go as long as you want to, but typically just to get through a real practice, you need 75 to 90 minutes. So I'm just going to share this story with you. This was my morning, and I just have to get comfortable speaking in front of people, and above all, asking people for money to prove to them I know what I'm talking about, and that I have been doing this since I was 18 years old, and I left it and I came back to it. That should tell you something. An 18-year-old can choose to do whatever they want. Some 18-year-olds choose to, focus on their careers. Some have kids. Some 18-year-olds go travel. Some leave us too soon. Like, there's so many things an 18-year-old could be doing. And I chose to do yoga, and I chose to come back to it when I felt like I was disconnected from my body, because I was technically, like, in all ways and forms I had an eating disorder that developed after I was fasting. So I was too much of a spiritual person at a young age, and I started fasting, and my muscles wasted on me, and I was weak, and I had depression, and I was socially isolated, and should we keep going? Like, stressed out from a parent that was chronically ill and eventually left this world. Like, culture shock, being in a new big city when I was 18. Like, so many things, eating the wrong things. Like, come on, you want me to keep going? There's a reason why I came back to, like, this little piddly class that I took to get college credit, and I took the class so I wouldn't be stressed out, and I took it so I could be in my body in some form Let's see if Lola wants to go through the sprinklers. This is somebody else's yard. See the sprinklers. This is California, man. It's hot. Yeah, there's a reason why I came back to it. There's definitely a reason I came back to it. And it's so easy. You could start at home. You could literally just like get together with another person and be like, let's get some yoga mats and go to the park. You could just go into a yoga studio. What's a yoga studio like? It's like this. There's like a little desk when you walk in. Some little hippie yogi is going to be sitting there smiling because they're like, somebody's going to buy my class. Yes, I get to teach yoga in these stretchy pants. Yes. That's what you're going to experience. And you're going to experience probably like some good vibes, like good energy music, some aromatherapy. Perhaps if they have like a diffuser in there. If you go into a hot yoga studio and you get cold easily, like your body runs cold easily, naturally, you're going to go in there and be like, ooh, it's the biggest hug you've ever had of warmth and nurturing. And you're going to be like, yes. So it just depends. Some yoga rooms you're going to walk into, you're going to be cold because you're going to be practicing with somebody whose body runs hotter and they don't need a heated room. So know that when you know what, I'm giving you yoga today. When you go to a yoga class, use the bathroom. When I say empty your bowels, I mean, get it out, guys. Because there's a 200% chance, because you have not been stretching for years and years of your life. You haven't been twisting and bending and folding and laying out and all these things. There's a chance, like 200% chance, that some of you have been doing this and stuff is stuck in places in which will be released, and gas is one of them. So I say empty your bowels. Empty your bowels also, like if it's morning and don't break the fast, don't eat before you go to class. Unless like you're somebody who has like a really voracious appetite and you need to eat right off the bat, eat a little bit, like space out some time. But before you go to yoga, the rule of thumb is do not eat. Hydrate, but don't sit there and guzzle water while you're practicing unless you want to see it come back up. When you're practicing yoga, you need to prepare for it. It would be good if you started to become aware of your own body and be like, oh, hey, arms and legs and hips and thighs and groins and ankles and feet. I said feet. Yeah, I said it. Hands and wrists and neck and shoulders and back and all the places, all the things, your junk, everything. You're going to use it all. You're going to activate it all. So start talking to it like it's like you run it, kind of like you operate it, and let it know that it's going to have to function because you're going to have something to do. You need to come into class with appropriate clothing on. This does not mean you have to wear spandexy pants. I know a lot of guys won't go to yoga because they're going to think I'm weird because there's a bunch of girls in the class with spandexy pants on. And nobody ever walks around and be like, there are men out right now and they took their shirts off and oh my gosh, we can see their bare chests and their muscles. Nobody ever freaks out, or their bellies, whatever. Like, nobody ever freaks out about that. So y'all have sisters, moms, aunties, cousins. You have the whole nine. You've seen stretchy pants before. Chill out. And if you're freaked out about people dressed like that, well, then go to an all-male class, for goodness sake. Go to goat yoga or something. Go to a neutral class. Take your kids to yoga or something. If you want to be less provocative while you're doing yoga, well, there's a pair of pants that somebody gave me recently. It's a pair of linen pants. And actually, in India. Like the top I'm wearing right now, I think this top is from India. I got it from the clothing bank because I'm finally at that point in life where I'm like, threads got real low after I came home without my travel pack. And yeah, I didn't. The turkeys are out and they're up on the Honda. I wish I could zoom in on this. Can you see them? Let's see if we can get close to the turkeys. Turkeys! Turkey, 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 turkey. Turkey, turkey. Lola, look, it's a turkey. It's a real live turkey. Leave it, Lola. That's what a turkey looks like. Not the kind we have for Thanksgiving. Leave it, Lola. Okay, come on, Lola. Sorry, turkey. I just wanted to see you. There's been a guy over here that's always had wild turkeys. I don't know if he still lives here. Those must be the turkeys. Anyways. So this cotton clothing that I'm wearing, t-shirts, shorts, those are appropriate for yoga, right? Loose fitting clothes. The reason why people wear stretchy pants is because they can move in them, right? Sometimes you'll see not just shorts like athletic shorts that you'd wear like to play basketball or like tennis, but like the little short ones that look more like bathing suit bottoms. You'll see those in yoga studios, like sometimes the hot yoga studios to be specific. So anyways, clothing just needs to be able to move and breathe. That's what you need to wear into yoga. Here are the last things I'll leave you with. You might have to do some oming, like chanting stuff. And that comes with like the Sanskrit chanting. Somebody's gonna have to correct me on this. That just comes from India. Chanting does something to your brain waves, guys. It's not, it can be a spiritual experience, yeah. But also it can be good in other ways for your mind and body. When you are going into each posture, you can have a drishti. Drishti is like your gaze, your center point of focus. So if that will help you to stay in line, do that. You can set, some teachers will say set an intention, which I think is like almost, it's like the symbolic way of saying setting your drishti, your focus. So you can do that. And know that when you do yoga, you don't need to compete with anybody. When I went into my first Bikram yoga class, I saw there was a girl at the front of the class and she was very muscular. She could get into the poses. She wasn't perfect. She would topple over still. But I could tell like she was into it. And for some people, that would be a signal of a challenge and a sign to compete. But in realidad, did I say that right? I think I did. I think my Spanish is on point now. Pero en realidad, do not compete with other people. We have a rapper from my home state. His name's Ben Haggerty. He goes by the stage name Macklemore. I don't know what that means, but that's okay. Sounds nice. But he said, there's cars coming, I gotta stop. Make sure to say hi to your neighbors. Be there for your neighbors. Be kind to your neighbors. And all beings. Oh man, we've got noise in the background. Well, let's get back to it. Don't compete. Don't compete. Ben Haggerty said, oh, come on, what did he say? I just tripped. Oh, he said, compete against the fear that's in me. That's my only barrier, and I swear I'm going to break that. So that's the only thing you need to do. Is your only competition is with yourself. Like, to be, if you want to improve or anything like that, or you want to, I don't know, work on something with yourself, go at it with yourself. But you don't need to walk into a room and be like, oh, she is like, I gotta outdo her, or she's got issues, or I'm better. Like, don't do that when you're practicing yoga. You're gonna lose. Then remain in your breath at all times. I think I said that when I first started talking. Remain in your breath. Breathe through your nose. Usually breathing through your nose is a really good idea. There's certain ways that they recommend that you breathe. There's certain breathing exercises you can do, especially to calm your mind and to prevent stress, promote that energy, fresh energy, and exchange with cleansing the body with fresh energy, pushing out the stale energy. There you go. And then I think the last thing I would say, if you're getting ready to go to yoga, is, a couple things. Report injuries to your instructor. I didn't know that instructors, see, that was the thing about going to training, that sometimes you think that you don't need training in something or a degree or something, but your ass does. Because there's somebody who's going to get real technical about how things are. And technicalities can be so serious. It's the difference between hamburger helper and filet mignon, guys. That's how serious technicalities are. So don't tell me you don't need some sort of training, you don't need to read directions, you don't need degrees and stuff like that. Don't tell me that, because we do need, even if our masters and mentors and gurus come in the form of like 20-something-year-olds wearing stretchy pants or whatever, they don't look like the old school gurus with beards and like, flowy clothes and stuff, or like Aunt Jemima, you know what I'm saying, like Medea. Your gurus aren't always going to be your elders. Sometimes gurus are going to look like Paris Hilton, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't always have to be old and wise. They can have that soul within them with a different flair, a modern flair. But what I'm trying to get at here is that these are some of the things in yoga you can do to prepare yourself for your first class. And breath was the last thing I was going to say. Injuries, report your injuries. Yep, I said that. And then last but not least, if yoga hurts, you're doing yoga wrong. So a lot of the poses, what really gets me is people be like, I ain't doing yoga. It's so boring. For some people, yeah, it is boring because they do need, their body does require them to get some like aerobic activity, which I think is all of us, whether we realize it or not. Like, you got to have a challenge. Your heart rate's got to get up at some point. Some people will say it's boring, it's not challenging or whatever. And guys will be like, I'm not doing that. That's so weak. And then they get into it and they realize all that stuff doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen like automatically. Like, it takes some freaking effort. It takes patience. It takes coordination and alignment adjustments. It takes determination, and it does definitely, how could I put this? Happens over time. Some people can get into a posture right away just because their body's already like flexible in a certain way. For example, after I got out of yoga teacher training, one of our fellow students, Amber, who owned a gym at the time, she straight up posted a picture of this guy who decided he was just going to get into Scorpion. He had never practiced yoga before. According to him, according to the post, if I remember correctly, he'd never practiced yoga before, but he went into Scorpion. I was like, what? What? I literally was in Nepal last year, and if it wasn't for the Vishnu G, if it wasn't for Vishnu G holding on to me, I don't think I would have held into Scorpion. And you can see it. You can see me, Vishnu holding on to me on Instagram when I was in Nepal. But you also see me fall out of it too. So that tells you something. So anyways, yeah. Don't compete. And don't do yoga if it's hurting you. Like, not don't do yoga. What I'm saying is don't hurt yourself or like try to get in poses and be hurting yourself. And know that yoga does take time to get into and practice. So these are my tips for starting a yoga practice. And like I said, you don't know how it's going to turn your life around. You've spent all your life up to this point, perhaps like the lady I was talking to this morning, all this time. Yoga will really challenge you in your mind, your body and spirit, and to have to coordinate all those things. And it's somatic, it gets you out of your mind and into your body. And part of like the world's way is to try to control everything with the mind. We don't realize that everything we do in our life, like whether we get out of bed or play video games or whatever we're doing, we're using our mind. But your body has to move too. You can't just sit there and do nothing. Because or take sleep medications and then do nothing with your body. Like, that's the biggest downfall of medication in our time. One of the biggest downfalls is that people don't even realize they're in their body anymore, and shit starts to happen. And I'm gonna tell you, like, I met people this year who've been strung out on drugs for years of their life, and they're losing their teeth because they're neglecting their body. So if you want a way to like get back into your body, to discipline your mind, your emotions, to really enrich your spirit, that's all this video was about, was yoga. And this is an introduction to yoga, and let it be a starting point for when I start. You know, like if you need to review this video before you do start yoga practice, please do. This took a long time, sorry about it. But perhaps video editing would help to get to the point. And then, yeah, go with the flow. Welcome to your yoga practice. It's a new time in your life. It'll take you to different places, and you're going to meet people along the way. Like, there's people I met along the way that I realized, I'm like, had I taken a different path, I wouldn't have met them. That's okay. I may not be in the same sphere as you, and that's fine. I don't think I'm really trying to talk to the people that I'll have no impact to. I'm really trying to talk to those, appeal to those who are disconnected from their body, or they're injured, or they want inner peace, or they want stress relief, or they just want something to do to keep them occupied, to get their wiggles out. You know what I'm saying? But like, yoga connected me to another time and place and culture and philosophy and all those things. Like, yoga has philosophy to it. It has spiritual aspects to it, and it's not just athletic stuff. Like in the Western side, it just goes a lot by the body, because Westerners are very aware of, like, we don't want to feel like garbage, or we don't want to be fat. Let me get the dog here. Lola, you better bring your ass back here. He just took off into nothing. Anyways, this is me, Brittany Travels the World, and welcome to your 7 a.m. practice. Get your ass up. Let's go. See you later. Have a good day.